join me in Gassho. Tao Cho determined how difficult it is to fulfill the path of sages, and reveals that only passage through the Pure Land Gate is possible for us. He criticizes self-power endeavor in the myriad good practices and encourages us solely to say the fulfilled name embodying true virtue. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. Those of you that know me know I'm very shy, so this is very difficult. I don't know why you're laughing. So, we talk a lot, and this is not a judgment, and yes, when all the ministers get together, it may be really obvious how much people talk all the time. And when we talk, we are doing it, of course, to convey information. We want people to be able to understand what we're thinking and what we are saying, and most often, we seem to think that the more words we use, the better this information is going to get across. So we just keep going and going. And even though these days we do have sort of shortened forms of talking with all the texting and the tweeting and everything, we've learned to shorten our words or use numbers or little emoji to kind of convey this information. But just like when we use too many words to try to convey this information, trying to learn how to use that shortened form with all the emoji and all of just the myriad kind of mishmashes of numbers and letters, it is very difficult, or at least it has been very difficult for me to learn. It's like learning a whole different language. And again, we use all of these thinking that, you know, if we do this to convey the information, people will understand us all the time. But there are ways to make yourself understood through very short phrases. What is going on? Half of you are looking over there. Yes, so, okay, where was I? So many times we can make ourselves understood with just a short phrase. A short phrase or a short word can make a huge impact and convey a great deal of meaning without us having to over-explain. And one of the short phrases, of course, that contains a lot of meaning would be Namo Amida Butsu, because it is a phrase that, of course, expresses gratitude, but contains everything. It contains the great vow of Amida, of course, and therefore his boundless wisdom and compassion. It's our taking refuge. It contains not only myself, but all other beings. And it is an expression of gratitude. And this expression, when we say it in other situations, would be simply thank you. And this thank you is also something that, while seemingly kind of small and simple, contains a great deal of meaning behind it. A couple of years ago, right after I received my Kyoshi ordination, I received a little card from a friend of mine who was a minister assistant out in Lodi. We'd gotten to know each other fairly well through different activities here at the JSC and at the Lodi Temple. And his card to me was a little bit different than the ones that I had been receiving, because every card I got said things like congratulations or good job or you worked very hard. All of those, while very kind, were all about me. It was saying that I did this and I am amazing. My friend Tom's card, however, said thank you. Thank you for sharing the teaching. And this was his congratulations to me. And again, while all of the other congratulations and good job and you did it were wonderful, but they contain kind of, the word congratulations or you did it contains more of a sort of finality. You are done, this is it, and now you've stopped. However, when Tom sent this to me, it was the thank you that kind of contained a different meaning. He was acknowledging what I had done, but at the same time making it into a much bigger thing. This thank you meant that it was not something final. It meant that this was something that I would be continuing from now on. It was like stepping onto a new path and moving into something else. So it was not only my accomplishment, but the accomplishment of everyone through immeasurable time that had brought the Dharma to me, everyone that had helped me through school, through the ordinations, through all of the trainings, and of course, people sort of past, present, and future that I would get to share the Dharma with, and of course it also contained Tom and his kind words. Tom, so again, Tom's was was less of a final kind of congratulations, but it was a congratulations that was meant to encourage me to continue with this new accomplishment. And like this thank you, the Nembutsu is also a dynamic kind of a phrase. It is not meant to be said and you are finished. This is it. You have finally accomplished everything. It's a dynamic phrase meant to keep us moving. And Tom's letter did come in the mail, and it was very encouraging, and it really meant the world to me. And the Nembutsu, of course, comes from Amida, not so much through the mail, because I think postage from the Pure Land would be ridiculous. However, both contain so much meaning. They are dynamic. They contain the sense that this is something that we must continue doing. And even though it is very, very simple, it is something that we can say anytime, anywhere, and so it seems like maybe something that is almost too easy to make a difference in our lives because of all of the meaning it contains. It is incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, my dear friend Tom has since gone on to the Pure Land, but this card that he sent me still hangs in my office, where I put it the very day I got it, and it has been there ever since. And it continues for me to sort of serve as a constant reminder that we're all in this together, that both that thank you and the Nembutsu contain all of us together. All of us can continue to work together, and we don't necessarily have to go with the difficult path to do that every time. We don't need to explain everything perfectly or overdo it with words or learn something that's going to immediately get us to attain enlightenment. Through the simple act of saying things like, thank you, or Namo Amida Butsu, we are all in it together. Slowly and consistently, we will learn that all of it is gratitude, that we are grateful not only for everyone that we have with us, but to the Buddha and to everything that came together so that we could all be here even today to share the teaching. So I say thank you to Tom, and I say thank you to all of you, not kind of, because this kind of thing still scares me, but, and in saying that, a simple act by a small, simple being, the Nembutsu itself contains all of the infinite virtues of Amida Buddha, and that is what we are here to share today. So please join me in Gassho. Tao Cho determined how difficult it is to fulfill the path of sages, and reveals that only passage through the Pure Land Gate is possible for us. He criticizes self-power endeavor in the myriad good practices, and encourages us solely to say the fulfilled name, embodying true virtue. Namo Amida Butsu.